Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back, a series that I do here on the Dice Tower, where I take a look at reviews that I did a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and even 20 years ago. I tell you what I think about the games now, if I think about them at all. So let's go back in time this week. 20 years ago, I reviewed a game called Election USA. Go figure. This is a really weird game from Martin Wallace, of all people, and it's about the Republican primary, but it lampoons it. And it's just a weird, I don't think Democrats would want to play Republicans, and Republicans don't want to play a game that makes fun of them. And again, remember, this is all 20 years ago, so it's a different political sphere to some degree, but just weird. 4 out of 10. Leftovers. This is a game that comes in one of those Chinese food containers. Is there a word for that? There must be. Designed by Candace Weber, and I enjoyed it. Definitely today, I'd want it to have much nicer components, but I like the idea of this one, 7.5. And also 20 years ago, for the first time, I played both 10 Days in Africa and 10 Days in the USA from Outbacks Publishing. Kind of a riff on Racco. Never was a big fan of Racco, but I like this idea of putting these tiles in order. Still enjoy this game to this day, an 8 out of 10. All right, 10 years ago, I reviewed Aztec. This game from Blue Orange, essentially dominoes, 5 out of 10. Yardmaster Express, this is a fine little game, or I'm sorry, Yardmaster, not Yardmaster Express, because I'm going to talk about Yardmaster in a second. This was from Crash Games, about putting trains in order. It was fine, a 6 out of 10. Gummy, or Gumi, this is a little card game from Piatnik about collecting fruits. Fine, 6 out of 10. Pandemic the Cure, I've dropped this one a bit to a 6.5. This is the dice version of Pandemic. I just haven't played it in, 10 years. And I would rather play Pandemic. The dice game is fine, but I'd rather just play the base game or one of the new small Pandemics. So 6.5. Yardmaster Express is the faster, better version of Yardmaster. And in fact, they remade this. Another company remade it recently. It was called Backyard Builders. So this one's a more enjoyable game, a 7 out of 10. Invaders, an asymmetrical fighting game from White Goblin Games. I enjoyed it. 7 out of 10. Good Cop, Bad Cop. So in 10 years, I've dropped this from a 9 to a 7. That's a pretty big drop. I still enjoy it. But Good Cop, Bad Cop, just why the concept is pretty neat, having the 3 cards in front of you. Again, so many social deduction games have come out. This one hasn't stood as well because, one, the artwork's not amazing. I kind of wish for a refresh. And a lot of other social deduction games do what this one does. But I did enjoy it. Fields of Arl. Now, this one I give an 8 to. I think it's a really great 2-player worker placement game. And for some people, it's their favorite in the Rosenberg line. I like Caverna, Agricola, the other one's fine. And I also want to play with more than 2. I know there's an expansion for Fields of Arl. I've never played it that takes it from 2 to 3. But it's still a good game, 8 out of 10. Deus. This is a game that I like a lot, 8.5. Z likes it even better than me. But this game, which looks not particularly great, you're just building buildings out there, but as you build each building, they combo and build off each other, which is fantastic. A neat little game. All right, 5 years ago, I played Beagle or Bagel, where you look at cards and guess whether it's a beagle or a bagel. Yeah, 5 out of 10. The Magnificent. This is from Aporta Games. This is about running sort of like a little carnival, and it's a decent game because I like what Aporta does. So I give it a 7. It's a good game. I just wanted the theme to be so much more interesting. Wayfinders. This is kind of a pickup and delivery game with dice from Pandasaurus. That's nice. 7 out of 10. Homebrewers, a game about making your own brews at home. This has the feel of almost a Garfield game. In fact, it looks like one with its size and everything. A solid little game, 7.5. Trismegistus. They're actually, we just announced in the news last week that they are making a 10th anniversary edition of this one, and they're going to streamline and make it a lot more easy to get into, and I'm glad. I give it a 7.5. I would have given it higher, but it is overly complex and a lot of symbols that are hard to read. I think it's a good game, but it just needs those fixes. Marvel Champions, the card game. Obviously, there's people here who love this game way more than I do. I think it's fine, a 7.5. It's very good. The, kind of the asymmetrical nature of the plug-and-play nature. You can play every Marvel hero you can think of at this point. They come out with a new one every month. That's really cool. And Secret Identity back. I like it, just not as much as other cooperative games, but still enjoyable, 7.5. Karn is a Asymmetrical two-player abstract strategy game that's a lot of fun, 7.5. Paris New Eden. This is a game that didn't get a lot of buzz, even when it came out, but it's like it's the future, it's after dystopian, and you're rebuilding. I can't remember if you're apes or animals rebuilding. It doesn't matter. It's a dice placement and movement game that I enjoyed, 8 out of 10. Azul Summer Pavilion is my second favorite of the Azuls. My favorite is Signature Stained Glass. But this is a pretty solid one and one of the more easygoing Azuls, 8 out of 10. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. What an amazing storied game. The story is some of the best in the universe. There's some things that keep it from being even higher. Like, I get a little tired of the combat and diplomacy in this game, but the story is just top notch, 8.5. And then Clank Legacy. 10 out of 10. Fantastic game. The best Legacy game I've ever played. Just to head things off, people say, what about 2? We're currently playing through Clank Legacy Season 2, but we have not yet finished it, so you'll see our review of that soon. All right, last year I reviewed Mlem from Reiner Knizia. This just doesn't work for me. There are too many other better push your luck games. This one's a 5 out of 10. Kut Nahora, The City of Silver. This was almost there for me. Has some neat ideas, the market system. Heads up, their new game, SETI, I like more than Kut Nahora. But there's a lot of good ideas in Kut Nahora. Just missed it for me a bit, 6.5. Books of Time. This is a weird game with a lot of symbols where you're flipping pages in books and taking actions, but it supersedes that, 7 out of 10. Halloween. This is a very light, everyone's hunting down Jason, and Jason's hunting them down in a neighborhood. Very light, able to be sold in mass market. You take that into account, strong theme, 7 out of 10. Tesseract. This is a cooperative game from Smirk and Dagger, where you're building this Tesseract or deconstructing the Tesseract, essentially. Deconstructing the cube and placing them on there. Some neat ideas, and the cube thing adds some cool moves, 7 out of 10. Isle of Trains, All Aboard. This is a small little train game that I really enjoy. As you're drafting a card and delivering goods, it condenses a lot of other train games into just a deck or 2 decks of cards. Really enjoyable, 8.5. The Fox Experiment, my favorite Elizabeth Hargrave game, actually. This is one where you're breeding foxes and trying to find the right traits. And it's just such a neat, you're chucking lots of different dice and manipulating those dice. If you like that at all, you'll enjoy it, an 8.5. And then Arborea. This game from Alley Cat Games last year. What a cool game. I really like the idea of these workers that you place on these sliding, and then they jump off and you follow them down a path, and you get so many cool actions, and it just cascades. Lots of fun for me. I couldn't tell you what the game was about. It's about making some preserve, or I don't know what, but it's a fun game to play. 9 out of 10. And so those are reviews I did 1, 5, 10, and 20 years ago, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Vasel, and you're watching the Dice Tower. Look back. Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, if you would love to game with us at one of our conventions, check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.